Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Game Not Game podcast. My name is Green, and with me, as always, is Zen, my co-host. How you doing, Zen?
I am doing well. How are you doing today?
Pretty good. That was real close. I almost introduced an episode of The Binding of Isaac head-to-head.
Rip.
It's been a while.
Yeah,
Since we've done one of those. That's going to be in my brain forever, though. I'm going to be like 80 years old, and I'll be able to be like, hey guys, welcome back to The Binding of Isaac head-to-head. My name is Green. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we did it for 4 years, so
yeah,
it's going to be with us forever.
It really will be. Yep.
Okay, well, I think, we forgot to talk about what we wanted to start off first. So, do you have anything that jumps to the front of your mind?
I don't know. Do you want to talk about your Japanese novel titles first?
Oh yes, yes. For those of you who missed it, last week in the podcast with special guest Zero Doxy, we digressed into Japanese light novel names. And light novels, they're called light novels because they're basically like not heavy novels. That's the term they're going for. This is just entertainment. That's really what it is, I think.
Right. Yeah.
Right. But one thing that really jumped out when we were discussing this was that the titles are very, very long for these and ridiculous, most of them, right? So I'll give you an example here. This is a new example. The title is Soul for Her, Strip Her, Change Her Clothes. She screwed up her high school debut and became a shut-in, so I've ended up coordinating her youth fashion.
Yeah, that's what I was just giggling about. It's real good. Real good. Man, what a glorious country.
So they're all like these. Well, I wouldn't say all, but a lot of them are like these. And I was trying to figure out exactly why this would be the case. And the answer is a little bit more mundane than I thought it would be. Right?
Okay.
And the reason for it is actually, it's similar to erotica in this sense. The category is extremely competitive. Like, lots of people are trying to come up with their own light novels.
Right.
So they're hoping to be the next big breakout hit in the light novel category. So because of that, you start off with, it's just a novel about the 12 Kingdoms, which is the actual name of a light novel from years ago, which is actually a pretty good one, right? 12 Kingdoms, right? Sure, yeah. It's a fantasy novel. And now it's like, whatever the hell. It's like, I've become this fantasy hot spring and naked women bathe in me, right? And they are trying to jump out at viewers because they've got so many, or readers, they've got so many of them to pick from. So they're hoping in order to get somebody to pick up the book or to download it, it would immediately target everything they want to read. Like all the interest, I guess. Like the one I just talked about is maybe targeted for people who like the idea of coordinating clothes to somebody who has given up on life.
Yeah, well, it's for people who like sewing, stripping girls, high school girls, that is, being a shut-in, and like general fashion coordination.
Yeah,
but like I don't know, man. To me, like that explanation doesn't make any sense because you want to if you want to sell something, you have to have broad appeal, and what they're doing is narrowing their appeal. They're like,
right.
They're imagining that their own weird fucking fetish for becoming a hot spring is going to apply directly to a bunch of people, but in reality, they're going to turn off a bunch of people. But maybe not in Japan. Who knows?
Well, first of all, hello, Dunspace and Wario. How are you guys doing?
What's up, guys?
The second thing is that's why I brought up the erotica comparison, right? Because in erotica, as you know, it's like I fell in love with an alien bear.
That's Chuck Tingle, though. That's not erotica.
Well, no, you go on Amazon.com. If you guys,
no, I guess you're right.
Yeah. I'm not even joking about that. You can find like love stories about I have fallen in love with a dinosaur. Those things are on Amazon.com right now.
Definitely.
Right? So I guess a lot of them are taking the same strategy, in a world that's, in a literary world, in a light novel world that's kind of awash with fantasy tropes, we got to really stand out, and so you go.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I still think there's something to the less is more, being succinct is better. Like, there are a lot of literary conventions that are being thrown out the door here.
Yeah, I mean, you're thinking like an editor, and so do I.
I guess so.
But yeah, but I guess
think like a
right now,
marketer.
yeah, basically this is crazy marketing, and I kind of think that if a marketer here in the United States, or Simon & Schuster or something like that, were to look at the books that are being sold in this category in Japan, they would probably think, "Man, why can't I do that and make it work?" You know.
Yeah. Oh man.
So I mean,
Well,
if you
anyway, that's
want
the
to,
death of literature, everybody.
it might happen. This, this is funny, but it might happen here in the United States, right?
Yeah, I
in
mean-
which titles just become this specific.
That was a really good point you made about the fact that it's like that on Amazon already.
Yeah.
that's worrisome.
And here's the thing, right? And this is something that some writers, nonfiction writers, are already fretting about. This is already happening to a certain degree in the nonfiction market here in the United States, right? Because you think
Right.
about it, if you go and buy a nonfiction book, the title would be like, Paint, and then there'll be a subtitle: How Paint Revolutionized the World, Changed History, and Made Us All Stupid. Something along those lines, right? But
That
if you
is
look at
true.
nonfiction books in the United States, they're all like that now. You can't just have a title that's like 3 words anymore. You got to have one punchy title and then like a really long subtitle underneath it.
You're right. Yeah, you gotta first you gotta get them with the punchy title, so they're like, oh, that sounds interesting, and then you've got to give them a reason to actually open the book.
Exactly.
Yeah, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to write a book now. It's going to be called Elf, right? And then the subtitle is going to be How I Was Reborn as an Elf, Saved the World, and Got 2 Girlfriends at the Same Time. That's my new
It's called
fantasy
Elf.
novel.
That's good. Oh man, you know what? You know what really needs a subtitle like this is Arms for the Nintendo Switch.
Oh my god, that's so true. What's the subtitle for Arms? Tell me.
I was going to school, then I woke up and suddenly I had springs for arms. Also, I was punching a man.
There you go.
Yeah.
Someone call Nintendo marketing right now.
Yeah, why didn't they think of that? They live in Japan. They know.
Yeah.
You can't just call something arms. People are just going to think you're crazy.
Yep. Oh goodness. I mean, video game titles are going the other way right now. As you know, it's like, Battlefield 1.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
eventually,
video games the trend right now is just forgetting how to count.
yeah, this is true.
Or trying to trick people into thinking that you've created a new IP, but also sucking in the people who are fans of the original IP. I think that's the actual drive behind it.
Yep.
Because you can't, if you make like, oh, Battlefield 8, people are gonna be like, fucking, do I have to play Battlefield 1 through 7 to understand it? But you just call it Battlefield 1. The people who aren't familiar with the series, they're like grandmas and stuff, will just be like, oh, this looks like a good introduction to the series for my grandson. I think that's what they're going for. But
that's
it's
true too,
really
actually.
short-sighted because, man, in 10 years, it's going to be really confusing trying to untangle this mess of an era of gaming we're in.
Battlefield 1-3.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Well,
it.
it's-
Battlefront 2-2.
Yeah, Battlefront 2. Well, dude, that shit started way back in the PS2 era with Final Fantasy X-2.
Yeah. This is true. Okay, so before we leave this topic of light novels, I have to say that I just found a light novel title generator. All right.
Oh, good! Thank God
And-
we have robots working on this for us.
I know, right? And I'm going to type in my name now, Zen, because apparently
Okay.
it generates the title based on your name.
Okay.
I will put it in the chat for everyone to enjoy. And I will put in the diagnostic result. My light novel title generator is: My girlfriend is a pervert and my best friend is in love with her. That's pretty, for titles
That's
that's
pretty
actually
on the nose.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's pretty ordinary.
I don't mean on the nose in that it's real. I just mean like that's pretty. It's not as crazy as it could have been.
Yeah.
It's down to earth. It's simple. It conveys the plot with relatively few words for the genre.
Yep.
That's pretty great.
Now, see, when I
All
put
right.
in when I put in Trump's name into the generator, it comes out with something more interesting, right? It is my cousin is my future self, and my mother is in an an erotic game. That would explain a lot, actually.
Good. Okay, here's mine. I put in green. My sensei is a pervert, and my waifu is moved in with me.
God,
Those are two unrelated sentiments.
those are very unrelated.
That's pretty good. What about Ted Cruz? We gotta diagnose Ted Cruz here.
All right, you do that. I was going to diagnose Comey.
Oh man. All right. Here's Ted Cruz's. My girlfriend is a Fujoshi. I don't know what that means. And my older sister is in love with me. Do they all end in an exclamation point question mark?
I guess it's pretty formulaic, huh?
It seems to be.
Yeah. A Fujoshi, and forgive me if I get this wrong, viewers, is a female otaku. Like
Okay.
somebody who's very interested in like yaoi, I think. Let me find out for sure. Fujoshi, good searches today, Zen.
You're gonna get some good Amazon recommendations after this.
I got it right on the nose, actually. Fujoshi is a self-mocking pejorative term for female fans of manga and novels that feature romantic relationships between men.
Okay.
Yeah, nailed it in one.
Nice.
Oh, okay. Well, that's light novel. So if you want to, you can go and find some crazy ones for yourself. What do you want to talk about next?
Well, I dug up, or I saw a tweet. I'm not going to flatter myself on that one. I saw a tweet about a really good old. Do you remember back in 2009 when Pepsi rebranded itself and like got a different logo and shit?
I barely remember this, but sure.
Yeah, I kind of barely remember it too. But it was a big deal at the time. They ripped out all the Pepsi branding on everything and put in new Pepsi branding, and it was all based on the word of this big like branding corporation. It's called Arnell, I think, and they made a 27-page document called Breathtaking. And there's some speculation that this might be a hoax, like somebody might have just made this up. However, it's crazy enough in weird enough ways and also enough work that I think it's really unlikely to be a hoax. I think like when I read this, I just see the story of people who got so far up their own asses that they forgot where reality is.
Sorry. Yeah, I know. I have something to update with that. But go on.
Excellent. Okay, is it something we need to know before I start saying this is real? Did you find it fake?
No, it's not. No, please go on with the narrative here. This is more like after the Pepsi
Okay.
brouhaha.
Okay. There's this big fucking. What you really need to do is look up Pepsi Breathtaking and find the PDF of it. It's really easy to find on Google. Find this design doc and look along if you can. If you're not listening in the car or something, like find this and look at it, because there's some incredible stuff there. It's really hard to explain, but there's a whole lot of circles and golden ratios and spirals and shit, and they're just like. There's this one thing that's just like they have a timeline of art, and they've got all this shit in it. There's like, oh, here's a fossil, and here's the Mona Lisa. Here's that thing Da Vinci did with the guy with the in the circle with the golden ratio.
Vitruvian Man.
Here's the Vitruvian Man. Here's the yin yang. Here's a Mobius strip, why not? And it's all like laid out on this fucking crazy timeline, and then it's pointing at all these circles that have nothing to do with what's on the timeline that kind of form Pepsi logos. And then like there's page after page where they just take all of the old Pepsi logos and draw a bunch of circles and ovals on them as if it means something. But there's no like investigation of it. They just draw the circles and then like take the logo away. And that's what you're supposed to take out of it. And they're like, okay, here's all these crazy patterns of circles that we found. Now what's the new? What do we do for the new crazy circles? And I guess they're proving that it's becoming more and more simplified over time or something. But it's very silly and takes up a lot of space for really not a good point. they have a whole, like, they have several pages actually on the golden ratio and like spirals and like drawing rectangles with segments on people's faces and shit. And then they go completely off the rails and start talking about, like, here's what it looks like inside the Earth. Here's the thing we got out of a textbook from, like, middle school science. And here's the Pepsi globe. And it's just the Pepsi logo. And it's like, look at the magnetic fields of the Earth. Here's Pepsi energy fields. And they've got the Pepsi logo with a bunch of circles drawn on it that don't mean anything. And then, like, later on, they're like, here's a typical light path, and they have a picture of a star with a dotted line going to the Earth, and then they're like, typical shopping aisle, and they just got a dude sitting, and it doesn't even look like a shopping aisle. They just have a dude like looking at two lines as like end of aisle, and then they're like light path with gravitational pull, and they show like a general relativity diagram of like light bending around the sun because of it being pulled in by gravity, and then they're like gravitational pull of Pepsi. They like superimpose the same diagram on their fucking stupid shopping aisle thing, as it, like, with the idea that, okay, you're gonna try to look to the end of the aisle, but Pepsi's gonna bend the light, so instead of looking toward the end of the aisle, you're gonna look at Pepsi and accidentally like crash into the side of the aisle with your cart.
Yeah,
and,
Pepsi is that powerful, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that. And then it finishes off with universal expansion and showing like just a sphere getting bigger, and it's like the Pepsi orbits, Pepsi planet, Pepsi Galaxy, and Pepsi Galaxy is just a bunch of Pepsi logos on like two ovals, and then Pepsi Universe, and it's just more ovals with more Pepsi logos on it. It doesn't mean anything. It's crazy.
Well, we know now. Well, there are a couple of things that have come to mind. First of all, I think now that we know that Pepsi is the universe, then black holes are really just fountains of Pepsi. We have nothing to worry about for that.
That's true.
Right?
What happens, though, is things get sucked in and turned into Pepsi in another universe.
This is true. Oh god. So when I drink my favorite Pepsi, I'm like drinking the treatise of a dying star. Wow, that's
exactly
awfully
correct.
Poetic.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what you no matter what you're drinking or eating, that's what it is. But go on.
This is true, actually. We're all made of universal matter. See, now I can start my own design document. Right, I'll go and redo Home Depot logo. I just draw a bunch of squares around it, and then somebody can pay me $1 million.
Yeah. Yeah, that is. I think I failed to mention this took them like 4 months to put together, and they got $1 million for it.
God damn it.
$1 billion in 2009, which is already, I think that amount has doubled or so by now, or maybe more than that, via inflation.
So that's the first question I had. The second question is, Pepsi energy fuels. Is that what gives Pepsi Man his superpower?
Oh shit! I forgot about Pepsi Man. Holy shit!
Yeah.
This goes deep.
Yeah, this is the origin story of Pepsi Man.
I still need to watch that. That sounded really good.
Yeah. Well, what month is it? Oh, SGDQ is coming. Maybe they'll run it again. I don't know.
Yeah, June, right?
I have no idea. Lots of events are coming. That's all I know.
I think it's like June 20th or so is when it starts, but I can't confirm that.
Yeah, I mean, things are starting again. E3 is coming.
Yep.
And for me and Europe, Eurovision is starting soon, or the finals anyway.
Dude, I know so many people on Twitter who watch that. Like, I just find out about it peripherally.
Yeah. Yeah, Eurovision is a sight to watch, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's not really my my style of thing. I'm not a big reality TV guy.
Well, I don't really watch it seriously either. I watch it because of the spectacle. Right. And and then there's this other thing going on up until this year because Russia has pulled out of Eurovision. But
they're too busy manipulating global politics.
This is true, but they were trying to do that through Eurovision too. It was arguable, right?
What?
Because, yeah, the Eurovision got really nationalistic over the last few years, especially with Russia and Russia's allies versus Western Europe.
Right.
So that brought like an interesting undercurrent to what would otherwise be like people in ridiculous costumes. Although that's really interesting too. What's
Yeah, I've
Eurovision?
never actually watched Eurovision, so I don't have much to comment.
I should explain this, by the way, Duns. Thank you for pointing this out. Eurovision is a big singing contest in which every country in Europe that is participating sends their best musical act, whether it's one person or a band. And some countries outside of Europe now, actually, Australia is sending a representative. And then they all compete to see who's the best singer. And each country, through call-in or whatever, votes. They cannot vote for their own country, of course, but they try to vote for whoever they think is the best singer or band in Europe. And usually nowadays, back in like 40 years ago, this was pretty serious. Like people actually took it seriously.
Yeah.
Now, things will happen like people will set their pianos on fire. And one year was an extreme heavy metal band that won it. It's really entertaining.
Okay. Man, I just realized I've probably watched a Rick and Morty episode that's based on Eurovision. I did not know.
Look, if you're free sometime, go to YouTube and look at the winners. Just search the winners. That's good enough for you to get an idea of how like spectacular it can get.
Okay. All right, I will do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eurovision starting up.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. And then I got the year wrong. I got excited for a second because I thought the World Cup was this year. Of course not. It's 2017. It's an odd year. The World Cup is next year.
Aw.
Yeah, that made me
That must
sad.
have been sad, yeah.
I
I never got into Quidditch either.
Man, if Quidditch was a real sport, it could happen. Oh no,
It's
all
a
they
bad
gotta
sport,
do.
dude.
No. Seriously, this is going to happen. They're going to miniaturize drone technology, right?
Okay.
And then they're going to make a self-determining drone and put it in a Quidditch ball. Wait, no, is that
Oh,
how that
shit.
works? That's the golden
Yeah.
golden ball thing, right? Yeah.
it tries
So
to get
that's
away
going to
from it.
happen.
I guess it could.
Yep,
I think we'd have to actually tweak the rules of Quidditch substantially to make it work as a sport, because it's pretty silly the way it's written. It's like you score 10 points for scoring a goal as you would in basketball or something, and then you score 150 for catching the snitch. So it basically like there's no way to win without catching the snitch,
Yep.
and only 2 players are allowed to. You gotta change something.
Yep.
You know what would
Unfortunately,
make it better is if it was just all the players were trying to score goals, and then a snitch was wandering around and anybody could grab it,
Yeah.
instead of having like individual players who have to catch the snitch.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I don't know that much about Harry Potter anymore. I realized a few days ago that the final Harry Potter came out about 10 years ago, didn't it?
Shit.
I know, right?
I guess so. Man. Yeah, that was such a formative part of my childhood and like teenager years. Just like waiting for the next Harry Potter book was a constant thing on my mind until the last one came out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, as it was for most people my age, I think. Like, it was just, because they all ended on such crazy cliffhangers, and they took years to come out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for me, I was a little bit past the age, but I mean, I waited for the books to come out and I would read them, but I wasn't really super excited. I just read them because I'm like, oh, cool, a new Harry Potter book's come out. I'm going to read it.
Yeah, I was young enough to be pretty excited about it. I didn't have the patience to wait that long to find out what happened next.
Ah, so you read fan fiction then?
No. I don't think fanfiction was as big a thing back in the days when Harry Potter books were coming out.
It was, believe me. And I know because I've been following the fan fiction scene since like the year 2000.
Okay, never mind. Smack down. We got a fanfiction expert on the cast.
I hate to say this. It's something I shouldn't really admit, but in the year, I was doing things like I nearly wrote my own like bad fanfiction blog to roast fanfiction.
Oh damn!
I started to do that, and then I got I got bored, and then I stopped. Or I got too lazy, rather.
I bet if you had kept that going, people would be incredibly angry at you.
Yeah, you see, that's the thing.
People would come on your blog and just be like, just like cry at you for tearing their fanfic apart, or just tearing their favorite fanfic apart. Like people would just defend to the death the
Yeah.
fanfic you roasted.
Yeah,
It's a very
low-hanging
serious
fruit.
community. It is.
It is a
low-hanging
very
fruit.
serious community. I'm sure I've told you about the Snape wives, right?
The Snape wives?
Yeah. Have I never told you about the Snape wives?
I don't think you have.
Oh God. Okay. Well, we're going to talk about this right now.
Okay.
So
I'm ready.
back in the early 2000s, this was quite famous. There was a group of people called the Snape wives, and they all had their own forum and everything, in which they pledged to marry Snape.
I was about to ask for clarification. We're talking Snape like Severus Snape, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes, Severus Snape. So
Okay.
they pledged to marry Severus Snape, and and then they would write their marriage vows on the forum, and then talk about how Snape visited them that night. When
Huh.
when I think it amused me to no end back then. When I think about it now, I think it's a little bit sad. But
I mean, it's people are gonna do what they're gonna do.
this is true, and it's. I mean,
I'm
it's
sure it
still
was
going.
a bunch of kids, right? I'm sure it's not. It's not that sad. Like people get crushes on fictional characters all the time.
I don't. Well, I wasn't taking part in the actual Snape wives community, so that's a
Why
thing I
not?
just said. Why not?
Dude, I would have if I had known about it.
It's because I couldn't write the right marriage vow for Snape. That I don't think he would have liked
That's
it at
hard.
all.
Yeah.
Yep.
God, yeah. And just imagine trying to get him into a tux. Jeez.
Oh God. One of these days I'm going to see if I can find the archives for all of these things and then talk about it on the stream or the podcast, because it's long forgotten by now, right? But there was a lot of insanity going on back then.
Now we've got different insanity.
You've got different insanity now. It's just it has more consequences nowadays. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. I'd rather have the Snape wives in charge of the country.
Oh God, I'd rather have. I wonder if Snape would make a good president. He might, maybe.
I don't know, man.
A better one.
I guess it would be good to have somebody who's only pretending to be evil instead of the
Yeah.
other way around, where we have evil people pretending not to be evil.
Yep, 10-year-old Harry Potter spoilers, by the way.
Yeah. Yep. Whoops. Also, Snape kills Dumbledore.
Man, that's such a cliche now, right?
It is, yeah. God, people were pissed when that happened.
Oh yeah.
For those who don't know, back when the sixth Harry Potter book came out, people just read forward. I think they got a group of people together to just read way forward in the book to find monumental moments. So within minutes, they knew that all these critical plot points, chief among them, Snape kills Dumbledore, and they would just sit outside the midnight release parties with megaphones shouting, "Snape kills Dumbledore! Snape
Oh my
kills
God.
Dumbledore!" and just reading out plot points. And this is within 15 minutes of the book coming out.
That is the shittiest thing. Oh my
It was
goodness.
fucked up. Yeah, people were so mad.
Oh my God. I would never. If I were a kid back then, I would never have then gone to the midnight release for 7 at all.
Oh
Right,
yeah,
book 7.
definitely. Yeah, I'm sure they took a hit because it happened. It happened in a lot of places. All the major places. It happened in L.A. and New
Shit.
York and all the big cities that had midnight releases.
So
Big coordinated. I think it was a 4chan thing. I'm not sure though.
oh my God. Well, I thought you were just going to talk about just people being mad online, but that is much
No,
worse
this
than
is
that.
this is mad in real life.
Man, I don't remember that one for some reason, but I remember when people got mad when J.K. Rowling, in an interview, right, you remember this, said that Dumbledore was gay.
Yeah. I think of all these clever reasons to be mad about. I don't care about gay people. I just death of the author, man. She just shouldn't be trying to dictate the canon. It's oh yeah, you totally care if she was talking
Really?
about yeah.
Wait, I don't remember this.
That's where you're gonna go with that, huh?
Wait, did you just say? Did they say actually that J.K. Rowling, they were accusing J.K. Rowling of dictating the canon? Really?
Well, no, they're saying she shouldn't try to expand the canon outside of books.
It's her book.
They're saying, I know it's her book, but you know, death of the author, right? Like that idea that whatever's in the text is in the text, and anybody can get whatever they want out of it, and the author doesn't have the right to come and say like, no, you're wrong.
I have never heard of that concept.
Really? Oh no, it's a really common. I don't know, like I heard about it in high school literature classes, but it's been around for a long time. Just that idea that once you put a work out there, you can't go back and say like, no, I didn't mean for this to be pro-Nazi propaganda. It just kind of ended up that way, shit like that. Just whatever came out of the author's subconscious, they don't get the ability to look at how people reacted to it and then go and try to edit that.
Yeah, I mean, I get where that's coming from. Right?
Yeah, and people were calling that on J.K. Rowling saying Dumbledore is gay, which is really a separate issue. I think.
Yeah,
it's very unrelated to Death of the Author.
What if what if J.K. Rowling had decided to write a prequel about Dumbledore's gay adventures? Then they can't use that argument anymore.
Then they can't use that argument, and then they'll just come out as homophobes, I guess, probably.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they'll be like, "This isn't what people read Harry Potter for. You shouldn't have just written a gay sex erotica in the Harry Potter universe," which I guess they might have a point about. That would be a little weird.
Yeah, I mean, if she actually,
I'd totally read it though.
Yeah, I mean, it would be hilarious.
Yeah, Dumbledore's gay adventures with Grindelwald. I'm sure that's a fanfic.
I'm sure there's
100% that's a fanfic.
That's every fanfic now. Actually, when I think about it, the fanfic marketplace has a lot in common with the Japanese light novel marketplace.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because fanfic really is like there's enough of it. It's not going to be quality, but you really can find any story you're looking for out there. You want, like, Garfield fucking assassinating the President of the United States? It's there. I read it.
See, you're a fanfic expert too, then.
I didn't read it. Somebody read it to me while I was playing Spyro the Dragon on stream years and years ago.
I think I remember this.
Was it you reading it? Somebody read it.
It could have been. Oh my god.
I think it might have been you. Those were the days.
Well, yep, those were the days. Live fanfiction readings.
Yeah.
I know for sure that there was also a dramatic reading of My Immortal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which is a legendary Harry Potter fanfic. If you've never read it, go read it. It's a waste of your time, but go read it anyway.
It's fantastic.
It is fantastic.
Yeah, it's just about a super edgy girl who goes to Hogwarts and is, like, the coolest person there.
Oh, God. Why does every bad fanfic eventually become a concert?
That's a good question. I think there's a certain kind of mind who thinks that up, and that mind is also terrible.
That mind is also a teenager.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because like if you're a teenager, like one of the most impactful experiences of your entire life is probably going to a concert.
This is true, yeah. Well, not for me. One of the most impactful moments of my life that's similar to that was going to see Les Miserables. So that's the kind of teenager I was.
Oh man. Okay, I think I caught that. You started breaking up really badly, but I think you're back now.
No, what I was saying is that instead of going to concerts, I went to see Les Miserables.
Nice.
In a theater in Singapore. So that's what I did.
God, did I go to any concerts when I was a teenager? It's not like I wouldn't have. It's not like I would have been like, oh, I'm too cool for that. But I don't think I ever ended up going to any.
What was the first concert you remember going to then?
When I was in college, my then girlfriend wanted to go to Hollywood and see the New Pornographers, who are kind of a weird indie band. I think it's local to Hollywood.
I have vaguely heard of them, but I don't think I've ever heard their music.
Yeah, it was fine. It was kind of like indie poppy stuff. It was okay.
Okay. I guess I'll look them up later on.
Yeah, it wasn't a concert that I was super excited about going to, but my girlfriend wanted to, and I was like, yeah, fuck it, let's go hang out in Hollywood. I also, while I was in Hollywood, I think we talked about this on Sunday maybe, but I went to Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, which is a world famous chicken and waffles place.
I want to
And
try chicken and waffles.
I, it's, it's exactly what you think it's gonna be. It's it's fried chicken and waffles. They're on a plate. They're on the same plate. However, they don't do anything to enhance each other. I was
going to
always
ask.
like up to this time. I was really, I was curious about the idea of chicken and waffles because it just sounds like such a crazy thing, right? But actually, when you eat it, like it's not the same thing as putting kimchi in oatmeal or something where they transform each other into something different. It's just two foods that you eat at the same time, but it's not some sort of transformative experience. They don't have flavors of their own, they're two bland foods, so there's no flavor to mix together. It's like, it's fine. It's really heavy. It's an incredibly heavy meal. I couldn't finish half of mine, right? Because it's fucking fried chicken and waffles, two very filling foods.
Yeah. I mean, I had the same assumption as you up until now. I was thinking, yeah, there has to be some kind of alchemy in there that makes it magically delicious, but I guess not.
Yeah, and that's what I had been told. Like, maybe I'm just wrong, but yeah, when I had it, there's no magic. And Roscoe's is like a world famous chicken and waffles place, so that's the place to try it. And yeah, it was totally okay. It was like there was good fried chicken and good waffles. However, I don't see any reason to eat them at the same time.
Right. Okay. Wow, that was a sorry about that.
That was a
diversion. That was an epic diversion. Since we are on the topic of fast food, McDonald's has some interesting news for us, right?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, McDonald's, I think they're pretty tongue-in-cheek with this, but it's still stupid as hell, have created a utensil. Do you remember when Panda Express made that chork?
The chalk sticks or whatever that is?
Yeah, the chork. It was like a fork that could then be split in half to become chopsticks.
Yeah, I remember that.
Which was insane, and we had all kinds of problems with it. This is way worse. They've made these like pieces of plastic that are like fork shaped except with no prongs, and instead of prongs they have holes in it, and then you stick fries into the holes, and then you have a fork, which is a fork made out of French fries.
I mean, I hadn't read the article yet. I guess that's what it is. A fork made of French fries?
Yeah, well, it's plastic mostly, but with French fries instead of prongs.
You see, I had looked at the picture and I had assumed that somebody made, a big fork with plastic French fries as the tines.
No.
It's a real French fries?
The way you're supposed to use this thing, according to the video, is like, okay, so say... The way they're promoting this is they made some big new sandwiches that are supposed to like drip toppings out of them because they have too much toppings in it. So you bite into the sandwich, a bunch of shit falls out the bottom as happens, and then you use your fork to like dip the French fries in it and then eat the French fries, and then you reload it with new French fries and continually do this process.
When you say reload it with new French fries, that almost sounds like it comes out of marketing speak,
I don't know what else.
Reloaded with new French fries.
Yeah, I'm the worst. I'm bad.
Hashtag brands.
Hashtag brands. Yeah, so that's what's happening, and I'm almost like hesitant to talk about this because I'm pretty sure the actual idea behind this thing is to get people to talk about how stupid it is, and we're falling right into their hands because there's no other purpose to this thing at all. But to do it, they're making millions of these stupid little plastic utensils that literally have no use.
I think when you put it that way, that's actually that's a kind of a shitty way to do it, isn't it? In terms of its how efficient it is or how effective it is, right?
Yeah, because this is capitalism right here.
McDonald's has lost its stance. Yeah, I would say so. Because if you compare it to something like, I don't know, the gold standard here, unfortunately, the Doritos, Tacos, Lacos, God, whatever. That was actually a much better invention because
Oh
it
yeah.
stuck around, and it was actually food that people started to get used to expecting from Taco Bell and eating it. Something like this frog fry or whatever, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, this is a fad. The fork fry is, 10 years, nobody's going to know what the fork is.
Man,
Just a fad.
McDonald's has tried some shit in the past. I'm trying to remember what else they've tried in the past that didn't go so well. Oh, you know what? About 10 years ago, they trademarked the phrase "I am Asian." That happened, actually. I remember this.
What? For
Yeah.
what purpose? Holy shit! Was this related at all to the Szechuan sauce?
No. I think what
Okay.
it is that when I think there was a time in which McDonald's was going after the African American market pretty heavily. I forget which slogan it was, unfortunately, but it was a pretty successful one. And I think after that they decided to try to go after the Asian American dollar, and they published "I am Asian." I guess in a way to be like, oh, look at us, we are Asian empowered, whatever. Eat McDonald's, right? But it caused a lot of problems, of course, by trademarking "I am
bet.
Asian."
Yeah. God. And surely they didn't get the African American market by trademarking "I am black," right?
No, if they did that, yeah, it would cause even more problems, obviously.
Yeah, that's a good point. Doai Wario says Wendy's has a sassy Twitter account. McDonald's has a stupid fork.
That is true. That is very true.
Yeah, Wendy's just made the news big time by somebody asked them how many retweets to get a year's worth of free nuggets, and they jokingly replied 18 million, and that tweet broke the record for number of retweets on Twitter.
Yeah, that is of course, obviously they didn't plan on that happening, but that was incredible.
Yeah, pretty good. That's probably more successful than the fork is ever going to be.
Yeah. Oh god. McDonald's now, I think they gave up on that, and they have a site called, are you ready for this? My Inspiration.
Oh, oof. That's almost
Oh
worse.
yeah, Dunce just mentioned this. Yeah. that is so bad.
That's really bad. God, what? What does that even mean?
I don't know. I'm going to click on it, and as an Asian man, I'll tell you what I think of it.
Okay,
Live
I can't
reaction here. Hold on. I need to allow all the. I have a script blocker for.
For shit like this.
Yeah, temporary allow all on this page.
Offensive.
Asian Faces Challenge. Okay, well I'll take this. I'm Asian. I should be doing this 100%. Asian Faces Challenge. Learn how to share some lovin' in different Asian languages. Click a tile to begin. Okay. Let's see. Chicken McNuggets. All right. So I'm going to click on Chicken McNuggets in Mandarin. Okay, so it spoke it out to me, so you can't hear it, but it did pronounce the word for chicken McNugget in Mandarin, which I cannot say because my Chinese is really bad. Crispy, yeah. So basically, McDonald's they're not challenging you to do anything really. They're telling you how to pronounce the words.
Okay, so it's
I
not.
don't get it.
I thought it was gonna be like stereotypical Asian American sayings, but instead they're just translating McDonald's foods into other languages.
Yeah,
That's not really Asian phrases, is it?
it's not. These are. I mean, there are some like that hit the spot, which is not exactly Asian either. What I'm saying is that it's not McDonald's, super McDonald's oriented. Let's put it that way. Does McDonald's have anyone working as
Those guys are asleep at the wheel, dude. What happened?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Well, we're closing in on out of time to talk about non-game of the weeks. Did you want to really quickly tell us about this Tibia update?
Yeah. I should do that. So a quick update on the story we reported last year. There's this MMO, a very old one called Tibia. It's still around, and there was this mysterious door that they put in the game that only a person of level 999 can go through. And in order to get to level 999 in Tibia takes a long time, right? It took 12 years for the first person to pass through this door to hit level 999. That's how long it takes to grind the experience to get there.
And that's the
Okay.
most no-lifey person who has ever existed in Tibia Online. It took 12 years to do it.
Yeah,
So for a layperson, we're looking at probably about 30 to 40 years.
yeah. So this person did it. They finally because and other players were watching him because it was pretty like he was the highest level player at the time, so everyone knew that he was attempting to do this. And then he went through the door and disappeared. And up until now, he has never resurfaced. All right.
Mm-hmm.
But there
He
is an
said
update.
nothing.
He said absolutely nothing, and the developers also didn't want to say anything. Right, of course.
Mm-hmm.
There is an update though this year. A second person has passed through the door, right? And unfortunately, this is a rather shitty update. All right, this person started talking about how they're going to pass through the door, so they started talking up their game here, right?
Yeah.
And then on April 13, this person, his name is reported as Death Onica. Death Onica passed through the level 999 door. And then he knew he was going to do that at this time, around this time. So they started a Twitch stream for this. And then they announced in big block letters, Death Onica must knows the secret. Today stream 11 hours after the server save. You must be there. And then when they got there, all they saw was a donation bar with the goal of $5,000.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Yeah, so they are, in the words of the Vice.com reporter here, holding the biggest secret in the game hostage for now is $2,000 because they lowered the bar, right? But until they reach $2,000, they're not going to say a thing.
Man.
And
yeah, I can see why they would try it. I can totally see why they would try it. Especially when you consider that's got to be the amount they're paying themselves per hour even to get $5,000 has to be in the under 10 cents per hour. For the amount of grinding they had to do to get there. Just trying to recoup some of their shattered life.
Yep.
Not that I haven't been there. I got level 99 in all the skills in RuneScape, so I know that feel. Also, really, really mind-blowing thing from this article to me. The first guy who got 999, Karsek, is still playing Tibia. He's currently level 1059.
Oh, is he? I did not know that. I missed that part.
Yeah. So he's leveled an additional 50 levels since he walked through that door, which is a lot of work.
Time to put in another door.
Yeah, right? Put in a level 2000 door.
Anyway, this Death Onica person, they do keep streaming, just hanging around the door, not going in.
They just sit there next to the door. Holy shit!
It says that they'll idle inside of the door, which I guess they mean outside of the door, obviously, right. And taunting viewers and waiting for donations to come in. So they are really being kind of trolls. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, that's rough. Hey, Doxy, how's it going? Yeah, we were just wrapping up. Speaking of which, is that it for Tibia, or do you wanna keep talking about it?
No, the only thing, of course, is that Death Onica will post memes. He will post his own memes or her own memes about them hanging outside the door. But right. Of course, they are not the only ones.
That
trying to get
when
to
nobody pays you $5,000.
I don't get it. I don't understand the memes. It's like in this meme on this picture, it's like a monkey, like a proboscis monkey with a really long nose, and then just a picture of the guy hanging around outside the door.
Zadarmo.
I don't know what that means.
Does he speak
for
English?
free? It says.
Oh.
No, he's from Poland.
Aha. Okay.
So there are other people who are trying to get to the door, but it won't show up. They won't make it until later this year or even next year. It will be a while.
Yeah. Yeah, it took about a year for the second place player to get there. It's a lot of hours. It's many, many, many hours.
Yep. Alright, I guess we should get to the game of the week now, which is The Curious Expedition. And,
so The Curious Expedition is like a narrative-driven, hex-based, like, exploration game, I guess. There's some light combat in it, but it's mostly about like resource management and trying to get the most out of your trips into these native wildernesses. What did you think about it, Zen?
I thought it was okay. I mean, it's likable. It's not something that will I will remember necessarily very strongly years from now, but it was okay when I played it.
Yeah, I'm kind of in a similar boat. It's not really my style of game so much. I'm not super into the like resource managey, like trying to keep my people fed and wandering around. But however, I enjoyed the writing, and I enjoyed the fact that it was kind of narrative driven. I enjoyed the stories that it told. Kind of, there's some room for emergent storytelling. Like for example, at one point, I had a racist lady on my team, and then a native person wanted to join my group, and she was pissed. Like it warned me, like, this is gonna piss off the racist, and I was like, yeah, well, fuck you. And then like every single time anything happened, it was like she folds her arms and glares at you. So that kind of stuff is interesting, and I can imagine as you get further into the game, more of those interactions having a chance to happen. I also suck at the game, so I haven't gotten that far, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm not good at the game either. This has a high learning curve. A lot of the items are not explained to you. You have to figure them out. And the battle, of course, is not. The battle system doesn't have much of a tutorial. You need to figure that out too.
I don't think I've ever won a battle in this game.
I have, but against the lowest level enemies. Like, if you fight two gorillas like I did, you're dead. Oh, I'm dead.
Yeah, I got into some fights with some panthers, and they similarly beat the fuck out of me. They're really strong. Combat works it's an interesting combat system. You roll die, and like the type of people you have different colors of die, and different colors of die can do different things, and they combo in certain ways. So for example, like scouts have green die and fighters have red die, and red die can have swords on them and green die can have hands on them. I'm not sure what the hands are supposed to represent, but if you put them together, like just the sword by itself is just a normal attack that does 1 damage, but if you put the two together, you get a kick that does 3 damage. And there are more and more advanced combos, so that's it's interesting. However, again, I never actually won a battle, so I can't really say I like it that much, but I probably just suck.
If you like dice management games, something like what's the name of that game? Cthulhu board games, essentially. The Arkham something or another. If you like dice management games, you would like this. Let's put it that way.
Are you talking about Arkham Horror?
Not Arkham Horror. Arkham Horror is the very complicated one that I want to play. Actually, I really want to play that game.
I've been playing it.
Oh, have
my
you?
Friend,
How is
my
it?
My friend brought it. It's very good.
Oh,
we have not
man.
finished a game yet. We have time to play for 4 hours, and that still hasn't been enough time to finish a game.
Oh man, I want to get into a game of Arkham Horror someday.
Come visit. Come visit before May 31st when he moves away and takes the game with him.
Yeah, I'll leave right now.
Do it.
Yeah, but yeah, the battles are a lot of dice management, but as Green said, honestly, a lot of where the game is emergent storytelling, right?
Yeah, totally.
For me, it was when my cook turned into a cannibal. That's yeah. So my cook turned into a cannibal, and then eventually I dismissed her for a missionary, whom I dismissed also, and she started swearing at me. You know, that kind of thing. That's the kind of events. The biggest events are when you steal artifacts. When you take an artifact out of a temple, that causes bad things to happen most of the time.
Mm-hmm. It's very analogous to, like, say you're playing Spelunky for viewers who haven't played this game, and you pick up an idol off of one of those gold head idols, and something disastrous happens. It's in that vein. You go into the temple, you do an Indiana Jones, take the gold skull, and then some disaster befalls you. However, in this game, they're a little bit more threatening than Spelunky, in my experience.
Yeah. So, for example, right, I could steal an idol, and then a volcano will erupt, and that destroys everything around the area. It could destroy you, or rather bring your sanity all the way down to 0, which is how the game keeps track of how many how it's quote unquote health, so to speak.
Kind of,
right.
It's like group health. It's like your party's
group
health. Because
Yeah.
people do individually have health, and that's how
True.
you lose combat.
True.
But sanity is like your group's status, and if it goes to 0, then you're pretty much fucked.
Yeah. So it will do that, but it will also destroy, like, for example, a native village in which you could have rested at. Right.
Yep. Also, probably piss off the natives if I had to guess.
Yeah.
I've definitely one time I went into a native village and they had an idol they were really proud of, and I rested there for several nights until I was at full supply, and then I stole the idol and tried to leave, and they caught me, and I took the idol with me, but also they tried to chase me down out of the village. They were real mad.
Yeah, which is understandable, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, the other interesting thing about this is you play as a lot of historical figures. Like some of them that make sense, some that make less sense. Like you play as Charles Darwin, for example. That's one that it's understandable why he would be on an anthropological expedition. Or you can play as H.P. Lovecraft. He's a little weirder.
The one that stuck out to me was Wong Fei-hong, right?
Yeah, totally.
Have you watched Once Upon a Time in China?
I have not.
The kung fu movie, the martial arts movie. He's that guy. He's the like fighting martial arts hero. So for those of you
Okay.
who are familiar with like old Jet Li movies, then you know who Wong Fei-hong is.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I thought he was like a mythical figure. I didn't realize he was
no.
just a movie figure.
No, he's a real person actually.
Okay.
But he's one of those real people who has been kind of mythologized over the years, you know.
Right, sure.
Yep. So that was interesting. And there are other characters that we haven't unlocked yet, so I don't know. I have Nikola Tesla, who was horrible, unfortunately. Because his Tesla gun kept zapping himself. That was good.
Yeah. Yeah, similarly, I ended up looting a bunch of dynamite off of ships and was like, I could use this to kill monsters. Turns out, no, it also hurts you when you use it.
Yep.
Not ideal.
In case we haven't made it clear, by the way, this is a roguelike. Or
It
roguelite,
is.
whatever term you prefer. So,
Yeah, it's a permadeath run-based video game.
So there's a lot of discovery. Like, you just have to figure out for yourself what combinations work, what don't, what could destroy you horribly, and what could maybe give you a win.
Yep. And more than that, like the trading system is very abstract. There's no real like sense of money. It's you barter with people. You're like, okay, what if I give you like 3 health kits and you give me that mushroom? But you have no idea whether that's worthwhile or not. So kind of figuring out what is and is not a worthwhile use of your equipment, whether it's for bartering or use, is tricky.
Mm-hmm. What did you think of the presentation? Like the graphics and music?
Oh, that's really good. Yeah, it's actually it's got a nice like top down. It's a hex based pixel art. Like it's very it clearly describes what's going on. It's just a nice clean map overview. But then every time you get to a location, then it switches to like a pixel art like landscape of the thing. That's all really beautifully done and nice and cool. So yeah, I really like that, and the music is nice too.
Yeah, I like the music. The music is very unusual. I can't describe it exactly, but it's not
it's
something
what you would expect.
Yeah,
it's chiptune, but it's not like typical video chiptune or video game chiptune at all.
Yeah, it's not like I don't know, like you would expect from Amanama Gucci. I cannot pronounce that name. I'm sorry, but it's very stately sometimes.
Yeah,
you know who I'm talking about, right?
I do not. Amayama Gucci?
I'm
Is
getting
what I
that
heard.
so wrong. I would just Google it. I'm sure if I Google any combination of these letters, I'll get it.
Talking about Yama Lama Ding Dong. I know that guy.
No, it's Anamana Gucci. So I almost had it right.
I don't think I'm familiar with them.
They are a famous chiptune producer.
Okay.
And yeah, and Vert. I guess you might know the word Vert, but it's much the chiptune music is much slower and much more contemplative than that, which is interesting.
Yeah, totally. It's more. Yeah, it's kind of a combination between chiptune and like. I want to say like stately British music. You know, like the kind of thing you might see in like a British, not a documentary, but it's hard to. Yeah, I don't know, man. Makes you think of Britain, which is appropriate because you're like a British imperialist is the the idea behind this game, or it seems to be.
Yeah, yeah, and they
going into native wilderness or wildernesses and like usually ripping off the natives and stealing their shit.
Sometimes kidnapping their people, convincing the natives to go with you.
Yep.
Back to Britain.
Yep. Jolly old Britain.
Yes. So yes, that is indeed what's the name of the game? I forgot. The Curious Expedition. Any final thoughts about it?
It's good. If this sounds interesting to you, it's definitely worth a look. And if it doesn't sound interesting to you, I don't think it's going to surprise you. That's pretty much what I can tell you. It's not super my kind of game. However, I definitely, I like what I saw. It's got a cool, it's got a lot of cool ideas that are unusual. So if you like kind of narrative-driven roguelikes, then this is the one for you.
Yep. Bonus points if you like board games, actually.
Yeah, totally. Definitely.
Like dice manipulation games, or even games that are hex-based piece movement games, you will like that for sure.
Yep. Yeah, it was fun. Cool. Well, thank you guys for watching. This is my channel, right? Yeah. Thank you guys for watching another episode of Game Not Game. Make sure to make your way over to Zen's channel, youtube.com/Zen and Cyrene. Also, next week's Game of the Week, forgot to talk about that. It's going to be Crashlands. I don't know anything about it. Zen, what's Crashlands about?
Crashlands, I've been told anyway, because I haven't played very much into it. It's pretty much like Don't Starve with less of a survival aspect and more of a combat aspect. And it has a very strange sense of humor. You're going to discover this when you play this.
Okay, excellent. This was also in the same Humble Bundle that we got Curious Expedition out of. I think it might be going on for a little bit longer. I'm not sure. It's the overwhelmingly positive bundle, so you might be able to pick that up. This is, I think, Crashlands was at the pay above average to unlock tier. But if you got Crashland, or if you got Curious Expedition out of that, then you also have Crashlands. So we're going to be playing that for next week. Come back on Wednesday. We'll be streaming that, twitch.tv/green9090. And also go over to Zen's channel and subscribe to him, youtube.com/Zen and Cyrene. And we'll see you guys next week.
All right. Just one more note. Just to be very clear about this, the very positive bundle, by the time you listen to this, depending on which day it is, you might only have 1 or 2 days left. So get on it if you're interested.
Yeah, check it out. It's a very good bundle. Lots of incredible games in that one. So yeah, I would jump on that. It's a good one. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next week.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye, nerds.
Nerds.